And heart is the abode of the spirit. It's the Shiva within us. So we have to know more about heart, and that is very important. You know about these three nadis we have, Ida, Pingala, Sushumna. But in the heart there are four nadis. And the one nadi goes to Muladhara. And if you cross the limits of Muladhara, it goes to hell. That's why they say that Shiva is a destroyer. Actually, you ask for your destruction. And when you ask for your destruction, you have it. So when your maryadas cross beyond a certain point, you go to your destruction. In four directions there are destructions built, as there are four nadis. So now what is to be done? How are we to stop this destruction of through the first nadi going to hell? One of the qualities of Shiva is that his innocence. He is extremely innocent. He is innocent like a child. His innocence personified. So, we have to put our carnal desires, dissolve them into the innocence, the ocean of innocence. You have to dissolve it in the ocean of innocence. Innocence is something to be appreciated, to be understood, to be enjoyed. Like you see animals, they are innocent. You see children, they are innocent. Flowers, they are innocent. Divert your attention to all these things. You see, on walking on the street, what is there to see best? Is all at 3 feet height. You see at 3 feet height all the flowers, all the beautiful grass, all the children who are about 3 feet are the best. We need not see people who are above that. Just see on 3 feet level. You can see the legs of somebody, that's all right. But you don't see the eyes of a person who are not innocent. Like once, the wives of Sri Krishna, he had 16,000 wives to begin with. And the 5 more, the 16,000 were his powers and 5 were the elements. They were wanting to go to pray to some big, well-known, I should say, a saint had come, a Maharshi had come. So they wanted to go and see him and pay respects. So they asked Sri Krishna's permission. But when they went, they found the river was all in speed. So flooded, they could not cross over. They came back, they said, how can we cross over this river? It's all in speed. So this Krishna said, all right, you just go and say, if Sri Krishna is Yogeshwar, and if he is absolutely innocent about sex, you go down. They said, how can it be? We are so many wives, what is he talking about? So they went down and said this to the river. And the river went down, and they were surprised that this husband of ours is saying all these things. They went across and worshipped that rishi, and they were coming back again. The river was in floods. So they went back to the rishi and said, now how are we to cross over because it's in floods? They said, how did you come? So they told the story of Sri Krishna. Now they had fed this rishi with food and fruits, and he had eaten such a lot. All right, you go and tell this river that this rishi has not eaten at all anything. He said, how can it be? Just now you ate before us. He said, just go and see. They went back and told this to the river. The river again went down. So to live in this world, to be a wife or to be a husband, to be married, whatever it is, you can be innocent, absolutely innocent about it. That's the sign of your purity. The second Nadi, the second channel that can take you to destruction is desire. That's why Buddha has said that desirelessness is the only way that people do not get old, nor sick, nor worried. Now this desire that we have, I want this. Desires can be of any kind, not only material. The desires could be also quite mental. I must possess this woman. I must possess this child. All kinds of possessions that work into you as desires. I wouldn't say it is because of attachment. It's not attachment, but it is just to have more. Go on adding up things, getting things. Still, one doesn't feel happy and satisfied. What is the reason for this kind of desire? Is that it's not pure desire. It's an impure desire. It's an impure desire, and when such a desire starts working, you can go any far. Like Saddam Hussein, like Hitler, like anything is nothing but absolutely desire beyond any limitations. You want to dominate others. It's also another desire. All these desires lead you ultimately to a destruction. Because there's no joy, there's no happiness. So what should we do as far as the desire is concerned? Desire for beautiful things. We can shift our desire, material desire, into aesthetics. I'll have one thing but which is really aesthetically rich. Because that's the quality of Shiva, that he gives aesthetics to everything. Now supposing this looks very plain, simple, and you may say that mechanical. But if it was Shiva's job, he would have done something beautiful about it. So the quality of Shiva is that he beautifies everything that is created by Brahmadeva, evolved by Vishnu. He is the one who does the subtle work of creating aesthetics. Everything that is created is made beautiful, is joy-giving by Shiva. That's his quality. So whatever you desire, if you start working it out, desiring for something aesthetically handmade, nice thing, gradually you will find you will end up with vibrations, because all beautiful things have vibrations. And to have the vibrations, you will have to go to pure desire. So this desire, which is madness, which makes you mad, which is so much dull and boring, becomes pure desire, because you have to dissolve all your desires into vibration. You start desiring nothing but vibrations after some. You will not buy anything which has no vibrations. You will not talk to a person who has no vibrations. So then what happens? All desire ends up into Chaitanya, into vibration. And if it does not, then you must know there's something still missing. But if you do not do this, then you end up into your destruction. So to say that he is a destroyer is a very one-sided statement. He has both the powers. He has the power to give you vibrations. He gives you vibrations. Now the third Nadi is the Nadi by which we feel attached. Attached to someone. Like, this is my child, this is my husband, this is my family, this is my wife, this is my father, this is my mother. In the beginning of Sahaja Yoga, of everyone, when they are just the beginners, so they talk about their whole family. My father is like this, my mother is sick, my mother's sisters, brothers, this, that's real, this thing is not well. These attachments start working within us. Now some people I've seen very attached to their children. And they go on pampering, my child, my child. And suddenly they discover the child is a devil's child. The child starts answering back, saying all kinds of things, beating the parents, misbehaving. And then they suddenly discover that this is the child whom I have been looking after, giving so much love. And they feel even worse, because I have done so much for my wife and she is treating me like this. I have done so much for my husband and he is treating me like this. Why do you do so much? There is no need. I have given this simile many a times, like the sap of the tree rises, goes to various places of the trees, various areas, looks after the bark, looks after the branch, looks after the leaves, flowers and fruits, and comes back. or it gets evaporated, it doesn't get attached. If it gets involved into one of them, the whole tree will die, and that part which is so close to the sap will also die. But sap has much more sense than we have. So now this so-called limited love, what is the solution which takes you to destruction? Is the unlimited love. Because Shiva is nothing but love. He is love. Love is that corrects, that nourishes, that wants your benevolence. That's what Shiva is. It wants your benevolence. It looks after your benevolence. So when you are looking after the benevolence of others with love, then the whole life changes. The whole pattern changes. And you really enjoy it because you become one with so many, concerned with so many families, so many things, so many problems of others and us. So you just feel you are one with so many. But this is only possible when you dissolve that limited relationship of yours into this great unlimited ocean of love. Then only it is possible. Fourth one is the most important for all of us, is to know that there is a nadi which passes through left Vishuddhi into the heart, starts from the heart, goes up, passes through Agya. It has 4 petals and opens up. This is the one which gives you the state which is called as turiya. Turiya means 4th. 4th state is where that you are in a thoughtless awareness state. When there is no thought, just think of it. When there is no thought, you have to be innocent. When there is no thought, you have to have vibrations. When there is no thought, you cannot be attached to anyone. So into that thoughtless state you have come now as a turiya sthiti. And in this state, when you are, these 4 petals which are within you have to open out in your brain. They come from your heart to your brain. And that is when you absolutely understand what is God. Absolutely know what is God is. That is the time when one receives the real knowledge. But unless and until these 4 petals open, one may fall back. And that's why some of the Sahajogis who are still meddling with things which they should not do, go down. And they don't understand what is God is. But it's not the understanding, you understand this one little point, that it comes from your heart into your brain, not from your brain to your heart. It comes as if the ambrosia of your bhakti covers your brain. Absolutely. That's the real knowledge, is to know what is God. And if that is God, then how can you suspect anything? How can you try to analyze anything? It's God. It's God Almighty, which knows everything, which does everything, which enjoys everything. That is the one we should say is the jnana, is the knowledge, is the true knowledge, the pure knowledge. Is not the knowledge of chakras, not the knowledge of vibrations, not the knowledge of Kundalini, but the knowledge of God Almighty. And the knowledge of God Almighty is not mental. Again I tell you, it starts from your heart and goes to your brain. Something that comes out of your experience of joy and covers your brain. So your brain cannot deny it anymore. But knowledge about God, that He is love, that He is truth, that He knows everything, that just become part and parcel of your being. Absolutely. And that's the time we say is the Nirvana. In other pujas, we do all these mantras, this, that. But in this puja is to know the knowledge is God. And to know that you know God itself is so great. Whatever it is. She may be Mahamaya, she may be anything, but I know. It cannot be described in one book, it cannot be described in 100 books. It cannot be described in words, but to know that's God. After all, that's God. God Almighty. And that gives you that beautiful surrender, where you just feel absolutely secure in that ocean of love. I wish you all to achieve that state. May God bless you.